Greetings and salutations one and all. Welcome to a brand spanking new week right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. It's a night we call Community and Finance Night. Tonight we're going back into the community. How you doing, you guys all over the globe? Big ups to each and every one of you locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Those locked in across the pond, One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. How you doing? Big ups to those locked in on WGLRO, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets on the People Station. I want to say big ups to you guys over there. And big ups to PEMGTV.com. Welcome to you guys tuning there. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. And guess what? I wouldn't even try.
Give praise, children. Give praise. Give praise, children, yeah.
Yeah, digging deep into the crate for this one.
Give praise, children, yeah. Give praise.
David Rudder. It's called High Mass. Want to say big ups to Paul C Media Group. Thank you for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless. So I want to give Paul C Media a link. A graduation party, a concert. We have a lot of concert series going on online now. Yeah, if you want to keep one of those on your own platform, give Paul C Media Group a call. They can do everything you see right here on kevinstew.com. They can create your website, host your website, provide streaming services like what you see right here on your website. Let's give them a call, 754-999-6020. Or visit them at pulseemg.com. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to Althea and her healing heavenly hands. Althea SU is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach County. These days she's been keeping quiet, but give her a call nonetheless and arrange for your massage. She comes to you with her table and oils and her healing heavenly hands. 954-655-9000 gets you in touch. Or you can email her at thealater@att.net. Big ups to Reggae Global Entertainment. They sponsor our third segment. They can act as your booking agent, your publishing agent, take care of your copyrights, your legal contracts, your business registrations, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034. Or visit them online, reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Of course, big ups to GMAT Music Solutions. They take care of our musical therapy segment, providing sound, light, stage production services, musicians, singers, DJs, musical equipment, audio engineers, audio equipment. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC, or visit them online, gmatmusicsolutions.com, and you can also do your online shopping there. Yeah, they provide those services too. Check them out. When you call up any of my sponsors, just say, hey, listen, DJ Kevin Stew sent me. Right now we're going to talk to a guy who, when it comes to high mass, raising hands, giving praise, he takes no prisoners. I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked into the stew pot right now. Invite you to jump in if you're not in. Other people call it a chat room. We're fancy over here on kevinstew.com. It's a stew pot. Judgment free zone, come on in. Just go to kevinstew.com and you're there. Right now I want to introduce to you, in fact, I'm not introducing you to anybody. I'm turning over the show to the man of the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you none other than the man, Gary Revelation Dixon. Big up, sir.
Good evening, Sir Kevin Stew. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a blessing and honor, sir. I humbly thank you and appreciate this opportunity.
Much love, man. Much love, much love. Thank you for taking the time out to hang out with us for a little bit and to not know what you're going to be getting into. Big up Smarlon, host of Real Rockers. Real Rockers is broadcast on multiple platforms. You heard from him, those of you who were listening in on Wednesday for in Real Talk. He gave us a call in. Gary gave us a call in too, but Gary tonight is Gary's show. I'm just facilitating Tonight is Gary Show. Big ups, Marlon. Wicked show as usual just now. Yeah, you didn't hear from me much, but I was there.
Okay.
All right, so Marlon closed out his show with a nice piece from Dean Fraser. Kind of setting up the mood for my show.
Wow.
Yeah, we work together like that. That's what you call networking. We're not
Absolutely
often,
beautiful here.
Yeah.
You guys are really nice over here. You really kind of really work nice and closely together. I kind of wish our guys in the UK could take a leaf out of your book, to be honest. So maybe I'll try and go back when I do go back, with a kind of new direction, a new kind of focus, because you guys are really nice and together over here. I really like that.
Are you saying that the guys over there in the UK don't work together like this? Musical genius carries my show.
I'm telling it as it is. They come a little bit more together. So it's more of a community over here, where it's more of a kind of solo thing back home. Everyone's kind of doing their own little thing.
I got you.
It's difficult. When you're trying to do something on your own, it's like anything, it's difficult. So I'm not here to try and change anybody. I see the difference, Kevin. I purely see the difference. I've spent here over the last 9-10 years, and the welcome and the freeness of just people giving of themselves, and like tonight, you invited me onto your show, without any, it's a more free spirit here, and I like that. So who knows? I may end up spending some more time here, or whoever knows may even kind of look to settle here a bit longer, if that's possible.
It's not like you can go back home right now. Anyway, so you may as well get comfortable.
I am very comfortable and enjoying every moment, sir. Every moment, yes.
So, Gary, let's let the people know who Gary Dixon is.
Okay, I'll try. Yes.
So now we're going back far, because you just celebrated an Earth date. So you just celebrated your 60th birthday. So we're going back 5.5 decades.
5.5 decades, yes, about that, yes. I come from a musical background. My father, still alive, God bless him, the trumpeter, singer, and percussionist. Mm-hmm. He worked a lot with Bob Marley back in the late 70s over in Europe on part of his tour, and the Island Records, where Bob Marley was signed, and my dad was signed with Rico Rodriguez, veteran trombonist from Jamaica.
Nice.
And my mom's also a well-talented singer from way back in Jamaica, doing all the theatre shows, etc., with all the orchestras and the bands back then.
Yeah.
Bless her, she's listening now. Yvonne, Hope Dixon, Mum, bless you, I love you, and just nice being here with you. So
Miss Yvonne, much respect.
Yes, and nice and tight there, So, my mum and dad, they obviously met in the music scene. My dad was quite hot then. My mum was really hot. If you see a picture of her back in the day, you'd be like, whoa. So they came up on what we call the Windrush in the late 50s to London. I was born 1960. So I believe I was kind of, in transit, they came up about that same time. So I probably was conceived in Jamaica, so I kind of see myself as a true Jamaican, regardless, but born in London.
Okay.
Through my kind of teen years, I got involved in music from a very early start, watching my dad, obviously, in bands and so forth. I got into steel bands very early, loved the sound. And then in my kind of mid-teens, a band called Revelation in East London were forming, and they needed a drummer.
Right.
So I became their drummer virtually overnight. I wasn't much of a drummer, but I had to learn quite quickly because that was the only spot they had going, So I caught onto the drums kind of. I had been studying a bit of it with my dad's band, so I wasn't fresh to it. And we started recording, we started doing some live shows, and around about 78, 79, we had a hit called With You Boy by Revelation. And that went tearing up the charts to the top in the UK. Then eventually it got released in Canada via Jackie Mittoo, and as a hit in Canada. It got released on the East Coast, I believe New York and various East Coast cities and that were exposed to it, and obviously down in Jamaica.
Right.
So it was a bit of an international hit. And, it was nice because we were only teenagers, as a 9-piece band back then. And, going on the road, then we then did an album after that. We toured Holland, we toured extensively up and down the UK. And it was just a wonderful experience being live, because I just love live music. When you can bring what you've heard on a record to a stage and replicate that, and give it some as well, it's just a special feeling, very, very special feeling. So there were my early days, sort of growing up in London, getting involved in the music scene. And when the band broke up around about my early 20s, I just really had the taste for the industry. So I went on to form my own record company, and I wrote a song, produced it, marketed it, called Cruising Man, by an outfit called Outer Limits. And again, that went to number one in the charts. I was totally blown away because I wrote the song. I remember being on the top of a double-decker bus. People must know those, especially people that have not been to London. You must have seen the red buses,
Oh yeah.
So I'm traveling the bus as a young man, and this song just came to me. I started writing it, and got in the studio, produced it with my brother Paul, and then the rest was history. It went to number one. I was like, well, what's going on? I kept saying to myself, well, there's obviously something going on with me. I've obviously got some kind of gift, because I've been involved in now a couple of recorded projects, and they've all done really well.
Right.
Then kind of into my 20s, kind of life kicked in, kids, family, married, that kind of thing, and I came away from the industry, totally came away for probably 25, 30 years, just kind of working, living, all sorts of things, doing all the kind of young man things as we do, and I was away from the industry, and it's only within the last kind of 7, 8 years that there was a call-in when I was in church one day. I was actually called up to do the announcements at church,
Right.
I had this strange unction, not just to read the announcement, but just to sing Fall in Love with Jesus. So I started singing Falling in Love with Jesus, and if anybody knows me, I can't sing, So what happened was the choir and the band and everybody, the worship people, everybody in the audience, the congregation, they all got involved, and something special happened as the Holy Spirit came down in this service and just moved, and I'm saying really moved, Up until now, I still can't fathom out what happened on that day, but I know when I sat down, when I went back down to sit down on my bench, I kept saying to the Lord, what was that all about? Please explain what gave me the inclination or the unction to sing,
Right.
and what happened. So I clearly got a message after kind of asking the Lord, what was that all about? And the Lord clearly said, you need to get back in the studio and use your talent for the glory of God. And I was in a church where the reggae gospel was really powerful, really strong. The minister loved his reggae, and I kind of really felt good about it because it kind of gave me the inspiration to say, yes, I can do this, because reggae is actually accepted in church, whereas many years ago...
Was this a Jamaican pastor?
No, in actual fact, he's a Montserratian pastor at the time. But obviously, there was other Jamaicans, Montserratians, English. It was just a real cross-section of Caribbean and English people at this church.
Okay.
And reggae was well accepted there. So that was it. That was the journey of me kind of bringing me up to date to get back into the studio. When I went to see my good old friend from Revelation, Stuart Green, so I've bounced into his studio up in Wembley in northwest London, and I just said to him, Stu, good to see you, da-da-da-da. I want to try a thing. I'm here to try a thing. And that try a thing has led to the EP we released a couple of years ago, 2017, and now up until just recently, the 18-track double CD, Inspirational Love Songs masterpiece by the TTM Collective Orchestra is the latest project that I'm so honored and blessed to be a part of, because it has been a blessing. These last few years has totally been a blessing, Kevin, to come this way, come this far,
Right,
and
right.
to now have, we've got album of the year, or album of the year, or single of the year. We have one of the tracks,
Nice.
Where You Are, now 2 weeks at number one in the Stevie J global charts.
Right, right.
And we've had other songs. Take Me to the King was number one in another chart, and You're My Greatest, My Latest went to top 30 in the R&B charts. Not gospel, but R&B charts. Somewhere, I don't even know where the chart came from, but somebody just sent me a picture of it showing me at number 30 in the R&B charts.
Wow.
So something special's going on. I don't just look at this as out and out gospel. This is mainstream music that I believe can appeal for everybody and anybody.
Right,
To be honest, yes. So that's kind of my 60 years in a nutshell.
Yeah, because that's quite a journey. You took us through 60 years in like 5 seconds. You gave us the the summarized version.
Maybe I'll do a book one of these days, where it'll be more in depth because there's lots of interesting stories along the way,
Well,
But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Your father and I have a little bit in common. My very
really?
first instrument, the very first instrument I played, was trumpet.
Uh-huh.
I
Wow.
learned to play on trumpet.
Okay.
I grew up playing brass.
Wonderful. Wow.
And you and I have some things in common
That's nice.
because I'm a percussionist.
Wow. As well. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes.
And I heard you talking to King Genius a couple
Yeah.
weeks
Oh.
ago.
Hmm.
And I asked a question, but it wasn't related to you. So I get to ask you the question myself.
Okay.
What is it with drummers playing bass? Because you fool around with quite a few instruments yourself.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. There's something about the bass. Even back in my Revelation days, when we used to have a break and everybody go and get them coffee or them patty or whatever it was,
Right.
I would always just go and pick up the bass. And, I had no idea what I was doing because I didn't know what note was from what note. But once it was tuned, I could kind of work out a bass line.
Right,
That makes
right.
sense. And from starting to work out bass lines, I kind of found that it just seemed like a natural to me. So maybe I should have been more of a bass player. But what I did do in my early 20s, I remember going to Goldsmith College and taking a course in bass. So that kind of gave me just a foundation. It wasn't too long, maybe a summer course or something, And it was an awkward travel for me because I had to go from East London right away over the Thames and down to Southeast London, and no direct trains or anything go there. So you go on about 2-3 buses and a train and,
Wow.
you get there like maybe 2 hours later. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't an easy.
Yeah.
But I used to just enjoy going down there, taking down my cheap 4-string bass at the time. Funny enough, I used that same bass to play on some tracks, even on the album. Would you believe it? The same bass.
Oh yeah. I believe it.
Yeah, and it was just a phenomenal kind of experience to just get a bit of a foundation of the bass.
Right.
So I understand kind of how to tune it, where the notes are, some scales, and that was about it. Really, I didn't really learn much, but I kind of knew the basics, and I think it was enough to help me that when I started to venture into productions, that I would start playing the bass on the productions. And I had some people, a few people kind of, close to me were saying, what are you playing the bass for? Why don't you get a bass player in? Get a proper bass player in, And it kind of made me feel, a bit dejected. But, when I started to lay the bass down and I would ask some bass players to listen to it, and these are like top bass players back in the UK,
Right.
and a lot of them were just saying to me, Gary, there's nothing wrong with that. What do you want me to do with it? That's fine. So it was a good kind of confirmation that what I was doing was at least acceptable and it wasn't detrimental to the track. I wasn't dropping any bomb notes or it wasn't out of tune, because I made sure I got it tuned properly. and just worked on my bass lines. You know, it wasn't easy, but I would work harder on working out my bass lines to know that when I get into the studio, I wouldn't be spending hours and hours just laying down the bass line.
Right.
Studio's expensive. You
Yeah.
know, studio, wow, it's very expensive. So you can't mess about. You got to go in there. You got to know your thing. And you want it to flow as well. You don't want it to be frustrating in the studio. You want the vibe. You want that vibe. So
Right.
the engineer, they feel it. Yeah, bass line's good, man. Let's get the drums down now, and you know, that kind of thing. And I would spend hours at home just working the bass lines, making sure the frequencies were dropping on their heavy notes, the windows were vibrating at the right kind of vibration, you know.
Right.
And with the heavy notes, you know, and you just knew you were getting nearer to that kind of that traditional, that proper Jamaican heavyweight bass sound. All I want. Yes, and if I could get that, I was happy, sir. Yes.
But you know, one of the things I've always heard as a musician is that the drummy and the bassy always somehow work together, and it's kind of natural because the bass is right there on the beat. I played tuba for like 25, 30 years. I grew up in the Salvation Army, so I grew up playing brass. And so I played tuba. I started out on trumpet, but I moved all the way to the other end of the band, and I played tuba. And and I taught myself to play drums, and I would even now playing music. One of my closest friends is a bass player, Marlon, host of Real Rockers. Marlon is a bass player also.
Is that Marlon? I think he's tuned in tonight. You know, is it Marlon?
He is. He's in the stew pot. He has a Fender 4-string. He still plays it. I have a 4-string here. I look at it every day, and I'm like, this case is gathering a lot of dust. I pulled it out a few weeks ago and brushed up on some scales and thing. A friend of mine who, I don't know if you heard it when I played that tribute to my mom. We celebrated her Earth Day last week, and there was a tribute that I recorded with two friends of mine when she passed away. And my friend that recorded and produced that track, he was the one that gave me this bass. And I used to play drums at the church where he's the music director, and he gave me the bass, and I'd come there sometimes. And then when I stopped playing drums for them, another drummer came in. So when I went to visit, he would say, "Yo, Kevin, come play bass." And I'd be like, "Yo, Junior, what are you talking about?" But then we would do it, and worship would go over really well, and nobody would be any wiser that I really wasn't a bass player, but I was playing the bass.
Absolutely.
Now, so it comes. That is why I asked you the question. You know, what is it with drummers and bass? Because when I heard that you played bass also, I was like, what is it? What is it?
Yeah.
You know, Marlon is saying the synchronization between drum and bass is very important, especially in reggae. Yes.
He's on it.
Yes.
He's on it. Yes. Yeah.
Drum and bass carry reggae music.
That's right. Yeah.
And
To me, they're like the twins of the band, you know, because you find a lot of drummer and bass are brothers as well. You know, we've got the Carlton brothers, you know, Carlton, Barrett, and Family Man from Wailers.
Right.
But then you've got kind of Sly and Robbie that literally like blood brothers, you know. And even in our band, you know, we had a couple of brothers in our band, but the bass player wasn't a brother, but he was a brother of the guitarist. And so forth. So, you know, we just have this connection where you've got to be, you know, you just got to kind of really understand each other, know where you're going.
Right.
To lock it, as Marlon was saying, you know, you really, it's like the heart and the beat of the heartbeat and the pulse of the music.
Right.
You know, you've got to be in sync. And, you know, if you look at some of the best drum and bass players, they are so connected.
They're really close.
Very much so, yeah.
So when you started learning drums, were you self-taught or did you go to school to learn? Because it seems like the people that I know coming out of the UK that play instruments, it's a part of their education that they go and they learn. And before I forget, you mentioned the thing about just going to try a thing in the studio and ended up with this masterpiece.
Yes, well, first it was
Melissa
EP,
Jane.
and came out 2 years ago, but then that led on to the
Yeah.
masterpiece
Right.
track album.
Melissa Jane did always say she's gonna try a thing, and she has one of the best productions that I get to enjoy every Thursday night.
Absolutely, I love her productions.
Yeah,
Love it.
her show is just terrific. And I
Absolutely.
remember when she started,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
when I guess when you Brits say you're gonna try a thing, we need to watch out.
Absolutely, yeah. I had no idea where this was going, Kevin. I knew in my heart of hearts that I have a passion for creating music, for producing music. I have a passion for all the instruments. A love for all the instruments.
Right.
So yeah, that just kind of led from one thing to another, and and I think the beautiful thing about this was I truly, in my heart of heart, know that the Lord God was in there. Every time we went into the studio, we prayed.
Right.
We put God before every session. It doesn't matter if it was just laying down some congas or a trumpet guy's coming in, or we just prayed and, we prayed up. And even if we hadn't prayed as we got there, I'm praying on the way in the car, I'm
Right.
excited. It was like the highlight of the week for me, because there's some weeks I've just been going like once a week,
Mm-hmm.
just as a ritual. I take like Tuesday afternoon was my day off work, and studio days, Tuesday,
Right.
Then as we got closer to finishing the project, we were a bit behind. The studio kind of had some problems, and I had some problems. Then I started to do some block weeks. So I'd take a week off work and just studio all week. And I was like, I'm in heaven. I'm in studio all week. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is great. I love it. So it was a wonderful journey. The whole kind of last 6-7 years has been a beautiful journey. But the main thing is I have to give glory to God, because he showed up every time certain things happened in the studio,
Mm-hmm.
and, we would turn around, Stuart, myself, and whoever's singing or playing, and we just look at each other and like, wow, what happened there, And
Yes.
it's magical moments that have happened, and somehow, we captured those magical moments. And that's why I believe one of the reasons why the album's come out the way it has is because it's got a vibe and a spirit and a feeling on it that, even now I'm getting people, we had an interview the other day where somebody in Jamaica was listening to one of the tracks, and they said, oh, wow, said if we had this music, because they had a funeral just, I think, a week or what, they said, if we had this music at our funeral, it'd be so nice. And they were in tears, literally in tears, when they were hearing some of the, and this is just not one thing. We get many testimonies like this where people are just moved,
Yeah.
some of the tracks. And I had another DJ say to me, he played some of the songs, he says, your endings, he has to play the whole song because there's something about the ending. I think Melissa touched on that as well, The endings are just something special, And we're getting DJs playing songs which are like, some of them are like 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
And, normally they're limited for time. They'll play a song 3 or 4 minutes, but they're playing the whole song because they want to hear the ending. And then move back. Sometimes they finish playing the track and they've gone quiet for the next 5, 6, 7 seconds, especially when they do it for the first time,
Right.
And they're absolutely speechless. And I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, wow, doesn't other music do this, And sometimes I kind of listen to hear if other songs are doing this. I'm not knocking any other songs, but for me, if a song can't move you, and it doesn't feel right, and the vibes ain't right, and that, then to me it's not ready. It's not ready to come out.
Yeah.
It has to have that spirit, that kind of essence of you've moved. If your hairs are not standing on end, if you aren't tearful or whatever, and you aren't sort of moved, goosebumps and the rest of it, then something ain't right. We have to go back to the drawing board. And somehow we seem to capture that on virtually all the songs, where there were goosebumps, there were tears, there was elation, there was just all sorts of things happening as we finished the songs. And I'd come out and jump in the car, listen to them, and I'm like, Lord, what's happening here? This is special, It was just a wonderful, wonderful journey, wonderful feeling.
Did you
now know that we've got it out and people are now being blessed
Yeah.
by the project?
Did you always have that feeling when you did a recording? Because you were doing recordings before
Yes.
you did this project.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you always have that? Ooh, that was ew, wow. Did you always have that feeling when you did recordings? When you played with Revelation back in the
Yes.
day,
Mhm.
was that when y'all got together and you whether it was performing live or in the studio laying down tracks on a recording, did you get that feeling?
Yes, we did. And being young at that time, it wasn't something that you could really comprehend properly, if that makes sense, because we were
Yeah.
young, we were kind of wild, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we felt there was a vibe happening there, you know, and this and at the same time, we didn't really think it was going to amount to much, because when the track came out and it went with you, it went to number one. It was a bit of a shock, you know, because it was our first ever recording.
Right.
And so we'd never experienced, we had no idea what was going to happen. All we know, it went to number one, and all I can remember is everywhere I'm turning, I hear a car playing it, or go past a house, or I go into a dance, and they're playing a song, you know, I'm like, wow, this is special. And it kind of makes you feel like you just want more of that, because you know it's a wonderful feeling to know that that's your song they're playing, and
Right.
they're rating, and, people talking about how many babies were made from that song and all of that back then. All these kind of things. Back then, it was Lovers Rock. We were in the middle of the birth of Lovers Rock.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, and it became a big thing in the UK, mainly in London, where we were trying to emulate Jamaican love songs, but because we couldn't do it the Jamaican way, we ended up doing an English way, and it became Lovers Rock.
You were supposed to send me some of those tracks.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll get you some of those tracks, the old ones, because even now a lot of them are still being played today, you know, and what they call like the revival shows and that, and they'll play Happiness from the album, the Revelation album, and With You Boy is played tonight. I heard tonight, just yesterday, my brother rang here, and there was a station playing tonight, one of our tracks. I just said to him, Paul, they're playing one of our tracks on the station, you know, and it's like over 40 years ago. These songs are like, 40 years old.
Yeah.
And wow, that's something, you know.
Well, the good ones never really die, you know.
That's the secret, Kevin. That's the secret. And it's always been my dream that if I'm going to create music, I want to create it that it's not just going to be for now. It's going to last 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years. People are still going to want to pick it up and play it,
Right.
and it's still going to sound fresh.
Yeah.
I believe if an artist can do that, then they're onto a good thing. They're onto a good thing.
Well, if they can do it and not know that they're doing it, then
Even better.
that's
even
even
better.
better.
Yeah, natural.
Yeah.
The natural thing, yeah.
Because the reward is a little bit different. The ones that know that they're doing it, they're like, oh, sure. I worked on this and I worked on that and to make that happen. The ones that don't know that they're doing it and they realize it, those are the ones that come out and say, you know what? Wow.
Yeah.
I was so into it, I didn't really know what was happening. But this.
Yeah.
And
that's when the spirit moves, and you're creating something on a different level, you know. Spirit's moving, and that's special. That's special. And when you don't know it, you're just doing what you believe you love to do, and then if it comes out like that, great.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
because that was what happened with that tribute to my mother. We did Sweet Hour of Prayer, and on the way to recording it, I tell this story fairly often, but you've never heard it, so I'm telling you. So on the way, we didn't know what we were going to record. It was three of us playing. Devon on keys, Michael on bass, me on drums.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what we were going to do. When we got there, I was like, okay, we can do Sweet Hour of Prayer. It was one of my mother's favorite songs. And they go, okay, how we going to do it? I don't know. I turned to Devon. I said, just start it. And he started it. And I tell you the truth. What you hear me play is exactly what happened. That was one take. The only thing that was done after the recording was stopped was to play it again and lay the organ over it.
Right.
That's it. Done.
Wow.
We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how we were going to do it. But it was one of those things
Yeah.
where we were just there and we were in the moment. We knew what we were going there to do, but we didn't know what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And we knew why we were going there to do it. And we all were musicians in church. We all played together. Devon and I met playing music together in church. He was a music director at the church that I went to visit, and the drums were there. He was playing keys, and I said, okay, can I play? And he's like, all right, but this church is kind of conservative, watch it. And I played for them for like 7 years.
Wow.
So no, they can't even do without a drum in their service. They're like, ah. But,
Yeah. Right.
So, and these are the things. You see, Marlon saying that's how ska came about in Jamaica. The Jamaican musicians were trying to play rhythm and blues and boogie woogie, and it evolved into ska, doing it the Jamaican way, the way you guys evolved the reggae, the Jamaican love songs into lovers rock.
Mm-hmm.
That's
even, yeah.
It's just, you can't do what they do, you do what you can.
Absolutely.
And it becomes your thing. You just make it your own.
Thing. Own it.
Yeah.
You own it. Yes.
And boy, when you can do that, and regardless of what the naysayers say, which is what I want to know now, did you encounter any naysayers? Did you encounter the negativity and people talking behind you and discouraging you and all that? Did you go through any of that?
I did, and I had that, even closer than I think, people that were really close to me were questioning, and why are you doing this, and why are you doing that, and, this, that, and other, it is not, so I've written a musical as well. I've written a musical, which I'm looking to kind of get going while I'm here, and again,
really?
People are saying to me, why are you this, what, I said, well, I don't know, I've just been inspired to do it, so why not,
Why not? Yep.
Why not? Why not? And I'm going to try a thing with that, and who knows?
There you go, try that thing again.
Yeah. Who knows? And it's going to be, I believe it's going to be quite special, but I'm just trying a thing. Never done it before, but there's always a first. It's like when my first record outside of Revelation, I never done an independent hit before. I'd never even written a song. So I'd written my first song, produced it, and it went to #1. Kind of not knowing what I'm doing, just going with a feeling, a vibe, and a
trying a thing.
Try a thing.
Yeah.
For those people out there, you got something you're thinking about doing, try a thing. You don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah,
try it. Thing.
Exactly.
Try it. You never know where it's going to take you. Yes.
Yeah, I started doing this, and I was just trying a thing.
There you go.
Here I am, 10 years later, still trying a thing.
At least it's better than not trying, because
there you go.
There's so much talent gone to the grave.
Yes.
It's better to try it than never to have tried it. But at least you've tried. You know what I mean? And give it your best shot as well.
I was talking to someone recently, and they said, or was it you guys talking? Somebody said the richest place there is the grave, is a cemetery, because all the ideas that people have had that they've taken to the grave with them.
Yes, indeed. And it's such a shame because, we are gifted people naturally.
Yes.
God has given each and every one of us certain talents and gifts and, things that we are designed to do because that's what's our makeup, that's in us, that's our kind of, what He's given us. So we should utilize, we should tap into it, find out what it is, and just tap into it. And, you will find a lot more people would be a lot happier on this planet if they were really doing the things that they love to do and that they're gifted to do, as opposed to doing things they don't really want to do. Getting up, working for a boss you don't really like, you don't really like the work, and more time with them than you are with your own loved ones and your family.
Right.
And they're controlling what they give you for it, So if you find that passion of what you want to do, and you can work at that and make it work for you, you will never work another day in your life. It'll just be bliss,
Yeah.
you know.
I think we might need to start a hashtag, try a thing. Hashtag
Try
try a thing.
I like
Because,
that, yeah.
because
Get those out
here it
there, you
is.
know, all those and that. Let's get them out there doing it, you know.
Yeah, Marlon said real rockers came about from him just trying a thing. So we need to put out a hashtag try a thing.
Right. Yeah,
Because, it seems like these great things come out of just trying a thing and just
absolutely, yeah.
sticking to it.
Don't know where it's
Not
going to
just
go,
trying
yeah.
it and leaving it. Trying it and
Yeah.
sticking to it. Regardless of the naysayers and whomever else. The people
Yeah.
that want to hear your ideas so they can steal them and then say that they created them and then you copied it.
Right.
Whatever it is, still try your thing. Because it's yours. Nobody can take that from you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, speak as we continue to talk about things that are yours and nobody can take it from you.
Absolutely.
This
yeah.
production,
Mm-hmm.
the Inspirational Love Songs masterpiece.
Yes.
How long did it take to put this together?
The whole project from when I started around about 2014, 13, 14, when I went into the studio, up until we did the EP, the 6-track EP came out 2017. So that took about 3 or 4 years to kind of put together. And then I just kept going back into the studio with Stuart, building tracks. And then we ended up with about 30 songs in total. Fully recorded, with just kind of maybe vocals to do on some of them. And that's when we kind of whittled it down to the 18 tracks that were going to be on the album, because at one point it was going to be maybe 20. But then, we whittled it down to 18, and that was it. So we're now sitting on about 10 or 11, 12 other songs that, could be part of other projects for the future. But that's it. So in essence, from about 2014 to now 6-7 years-ish on and off to get to the album completion. Yeah.
Wow. That's a
It was a journey, the journey. As we recorded everything in London, we then had to kind of get a few other mixes done at some other studios in London because we were getting really up against it, Then we got the artwork and everything done. We got it sent out from a sounds performance in London out to Czechoslovakia to press up the CDs. The CDs then came in on, actually before we went there, we got it mastered at Anchor Studios in Jamaica, courtesy of Gussie Clark and his people down there. They did a great job on the mastering.
Okay.
And then it went to Czechoslovakia for Sony Music to press their pressing plant. And then we had the show booked for the 15th of February, which was the day after Valentine's.
Right.
And the CDs landed at my premises on the 14th, Valentine's Day. Would you believe it?
Wow.
Inspirational Love Songs landed on Valentine's Day. How tight and close was that? I had the show the next day, Boy, God has got a sense of humor, definitely,
Right.
That's I remember filming myself, the driver bringing them in. I've got this camera out. So I like to film little snippets,
Right.
and saying on Facebook Live, the CDs have arrived. I'm over the moon. I'm happy. Come to the show tomorrow. They're going to be there, because we did have a show booked for last year, which was like the pre-launch, and the album just wasn't ready in May. It wasn't ready. Big showcase, etc. Great turnout, great show, but still we hadn't finished off the album. So when we got it finished for February, I was elated. People were saying, you need to put on another event. You can't just release it. I was like, okay. Then that's when we went to my now new church over at Forest Gate, the Ark Church, where we actually did a rehearsal last year for the other show.
Right.
And it's the first time we actually took this project, this concert into a church. And it was such a blessing, in my home church, to bring it after doing 2 or 3 years on the road, doing other main secular venues, good venues as well, but it was nice to kind of bring it home to church, and we brought it home. I'm telling you, if you ever see some of the pictures from the show, etc., you know, it was a showcase and a half. You know, something I think fitting for like a Hollywood TV series. You know, the
Yeah.
lighting, the stagemanship, everything was just perfect. Loved it. Just one of the best days of my life. Looking back at it now, you know, to have the album come out, the 14th was a best day of my life, and then the 15th was another best day of my life to do the show. You know,
Was that show? Did you guys catch that show on video recording?
we have some of it filmed. We're still waiting for some of the editing, etc. It was only a couple months ago. You know,
Right.
some of it you may see on some of the footage that we're now putting up onto my GLR Records Facebook page, you know. But yeah, I'm waiting for some more of the footage so we can hopefully amalgamate that with some of the other tracks off the album. So if they become singles, we could actually start to implement that as the videos to go along with it, with some still shots maybe,
You know,
along
it,
with some
it
live.
sounds like that could be, you know, a little production in and of itself. You know,
Yeah.
the inspirational love songs live. You know, and where you don't have full songs recorded, you'd have a little narration. You know, you put out a little thing, and you send out you market a whole collection. You know, you can buy the double CD and you can get the bonus DVD with
Absolutely.
3 payments of 9.99.99. You know,
Yes.
something like that. You know,
Uh-huh.
Eh,
Absolutely. So online TV, online Vision TV, who did most of the filming, I hope they're listening in or they catch this on a replay. Yes, let's get these videos together, and we could be having some merchandise format for the market, for the people to actually capture that, and they can play it back and enjoy it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, because the way you make it sound to me, you know, it's like watching that video. I'd be there in the experience just watching that video. The way you
Yes.
described it just now, the whole production being so perfect.
Yes. And that to me is very important. You know, production is important. You know, sound, lighting, effects, the back of the screen, projector, you know, photography, everything. It's, you know, for me, it's because I grew up going to all the shows, all the big shows. You know, if anyone is coming over from the States, like Frankie Beverly and Maze and Cameo and, you know, Anita Baker and Burning Spear and, you know, Wailers, Third World. I used to go watch all these shows. I wouldn't miss any of these shows. And I learned so much about stagemanship and production and, you know, everything to make it a very special event. So when the audience at the other side of the curtain are watching it, they are fully entertained from start to finish. And they have got their
Nice.
money's worth because they have seen a wonderful production. And, you know, it's nice when people can put that together nicely.
Yeah.
It's very special, very, very special. So
Right. Right.
hoping that when people eventually get to see us with the orchestra perform, whether it's here in the States or Europe or wherever in the Caribbean, they're in for a treat because we'll be looking to put on a production. It's ministry, but with a production, you know,
Right. Right.
the highest standard that we can put it to, yeah.
The artists that are a part of this production, and the musicians, how did you go about? Well, you said it's like a 6-year project, so
Yes.
I guess it's people that you came across along the way. But
Absolutely.
were there any that you would say, boy, you know, I never thought I would have had this person?
Yes, there are a few, absolutely a few. One of the first persons that I approached to do some singing, some vocals on the project, on the EP project, was none other than Loreen Cato, one of the top gospel singers in the UK, you know, and Europe, and she's quite well known. She travels extensively. So very, very busy person. She's got her own projects and things that she's been working on. And when I approached her and her manager, which is her sister, for this project, and I just kind of said, look, I'm trying to think. I've got here, trying to think. Trying to think. I've got these songs I've recorded. You know, I didn't make a big issue of it because I don't think it's the right approach, you know. So I just said, look, got this song, you're my latest, my greatest. Can I send it over to you? And I did. I sent it over by email. Let us know what you think. It'd be great if you can consider it, you know. And to be honest, Kevin, the back of my mind was like, I'm being really honest, was like, no, you know, although I was hopeful, I was like praying, yeah, please, 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 please. But back of my mind was, no, she's too busy, you know.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, not going to have so. But when I got the phone call a number of days later, and, you know, we're having a little bit of chit-chat, blah, 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 you know, seeing how things are. You got the song, okay, yeah. And I'm really just waiting for that decision, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it went quiet. The phone went quiet for quite a few seconds, you know. And all of a sudden I heard a shout go up and then, yes, we love the song. We're going to do the song, you know, like, yeah, man, yeah. Like, so elated, you know, because I've now got the wonderful #1 award-winning, mobile award-winning, you name any of the awards that have been happening around the UK, she's got them, trust me, you know.
Wow.
And she said, yes, she's going to do the song. And that kind of led to us going into the studio. And she's got a 5-octave range. She's really up there, like, you know, the Minnie Rippletons and the Mariah Carey, that kind of level of singing, right?
Yeah.
And she just kept saying to me, Gary, the first part of the song is a bit too low. And I'm thinking, well, back on my mind, you're Louis Cater, you can handle, you know. Her take on it was, you know what, I'm going to try and get a male in to come and do that first part, you know. And that's when she introduced me to David Copeland, who lives up in the Midlands, like about 200 miles from where I am, you know. And I was like, well, if you're going to introduce me to David Copeland, I trust your judgment. You're not going to introduce me to anybody that ain't going to be of a level, you know. And I tell you, when he came to do the track, it was a bit difficult at first because they were both recording separately as a duet. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't working. It was like, nah, this ain't working. So, you know, eventually I said, look, you know, we need to get you both together. You know, you need to come down from Warsaw and Louis needs to get into the studio, whether she's out of the country or whatever. It just needs to be a time when they're both at the studio together. Eventually, when they both came in and were jamming it and gelling it and whatever, vibing it together, that was when the magic happened. You know, all the magic happened, and she started hitting these high notes, and I'm like looking for the glasses to crack and everything. I'm holding on to my glass of drink, you know, and it was just magical moment, and it just worked. It worked, you know. So that was one incident where, you know, I'd been working with Loreen on and off because we did like prison ministry and stuff together. You know, we went into some of the ACAP top, you know, secure prisons to do ministry and stuff. So we kind of got to know each other, and we'd travel early hours in the morning to get there to pass security and et cetera, you know.
Right.
And I just watched the gifting that she had, and I was just blown away by how she can just hit these high notes at a drop of a hat. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, if I get some of them on my gospel songs, I'd be really happy. And, you know, to God be the glory, she was on one of the main tracks now, and it's just phenomenal to hear her sing the way she's sung on there, and to bring David in there as well, you know. And Natalie Phillips was another sort of example, and Take Me to the King.
Wait, before you tell that story, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do.
Okay.
I'm going to play a piece of that track.
Oh, wow.
Just a little bit.
Okay, nice one.
Lorraine Cato, David Copeland.
I've been so many places, seen so many things, but none quite as lovely as you. Ever since that day I received you're worth more than gold, and my eyes have the pleasure to behold. You're my latest and my greatest, my greatest inspiration. Things never looked clearer. Peace within never failed me.
I'm not going to play the whole song. But Melissa asking me if I have the ending part.
Oh, yeah.
You mean this ending part right here? In fact, This part here.
I'm grateful, Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
They should have that you. You should got
It goes
all the way up
higher.
there. Mercy. Down to the very last
There you go.
drop. Listen, y'all don't understand. Let me tell you. See, this is what it looks like. That's what the album cover looks like. For those of you who are wondering, what is it that you're going out there looking for? It's this Inspirational Love Songs, TTM Collective Orchestra masterpiece. You know, whew, let me tell you, it is a masterpiece. You had started telling us about another track just now. I won't be going in to play it. Everybody is going to be... Listen, those who haven't heard me play any of the songs off of this track, off of this production, y'all need to go find the album, download it, order it, whichever way you can get it. I don't care how you get it, just get it anyway. Right? And Gary will tell us a little bit later on how we can go about getting it. But
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on that one. And there's one more that I'm going to touch on possibly before we get out of here.
Uh-huh.
In however long it takes us to get out of here.
Mm.
But you were saying you started telling another story.
Yeah, Natalie Phillips, another
Yeah.
story, was Take Me to the King, because Natalie, again, another kind of top gospel singer in the UK, but she'd never ever done any reggae. And her manager at the time kept kind of prompting her, yeah, come on, do some reggae gospel, you know. And then this opportunity came up where I presented them Take Me to the King. And yeah, they jumped on it, and it was like, again, a first, because like Loreen Cato, they'd never ever done any reggae stuff before, because these guys are mainly, you know, R&B, soul, you know, praise and worship, but not reggae. But I'm primarily a reggae producer. That's where I'm really at home.
Right.
And to bring them onto a reggae production was again, a different dimension for them, a bit like Kiba Williams, who's based here in Fort Lauderdale. Again, not a reggae singer, and she kicked the whole thing off with Fall in Love with Jesus. Again, not a reggae singer, you know, so it was quite nice to kind of bring people in to the project that reggae isn't their first style or genre of music, but with the talent that they have, the range that they have, sitting them on a reggae track, for me, just made it magical.
Right.
You know, all of their, you know, their jazzy elements, their R&B, their riffs and everything else, and just making the project really special. Yeah.
Yeah, that fusion.
Yes, the fusion.
Is just something special. You know,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, I had a young man by the name, and he's so talented, Jamie Hinkson.
Okay.
And he is classically trained on piano.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he started doing this reggae jazz on piano thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Let me tell you.
Wow. I can see it.
Smooth and
Yeah.
just mellow, and you know that goose pimple ooh kind of thing.
That's what I'm talking about. When that happens,
Effortless.
yes, that's what happens special. I'd like to get to know more about that, because that's kind of my thing when I'm relaxing and stuff. That's the kind of stuff I like to do that inspires me. You know?
Yeah, Jamie Hinkson. He
Jamie Hinkson.
he actually plays for Julian Marley now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Jamie Hinkson.
And yeah, Jaime, Jamie Hinkson.
Hinkson. make a note of that. Yes.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
he's just an awesome, and humble. Jeez, let
Oh,
me
that's
tell you, humble.
nice.
He did jazz and blues in Jamaica,
Uh-huh.
and he got called back to the stage and didn't even know that he was being called back to the stage. I think it was Regina Bell
Oh, Regina Bell, okay.
was calling him back, if
Mhm.
memory serves me correctly. Uh, it was one of the Marlon probably would remember better than me. Sometimes I forget these things, but he was being called back to the stage. He was busy somewhere off in the park chatting up girls because he just came off stage, and
Uh-huh.
I was on stage. I was the one playing. Only to be called by Grammy winning artist to come back on stage, and
Mhm.
so that was a really funny story too. But he's
Wow.
humble
Okay.
and just a real special guy, and his music really is that special.
Does he have an album?
Oh, he has a few things out. He
Wonderful.
definitely,
Okay. I'll be checking that out. Because
yeah,
I hear you guys play some stuff over here. It's like, oh, wow, if we could have that music aired or played back in the UK,
right,
it would be a breath of fresh air because sometimes material just doesn't cross the waters.
right,
It's very interesting, I've heard you guys, all playing some stuff that I was like blown away. I heard Rock the Box play some stuff the other morning. I was like, what? And, the productions were kind of very similar to what I would do. I was like, yeah,
right,
now we're
right, right,
talking.
right.
And I was just blown away because it made me feel really inspired that there is some really good music being produced. And it's just a matter of now, we need to get it out there so people can hear it.
Right.
Because without people hearing it, it's like, it's a bit of a waste of time. We spend all this time, money, energy, effort creating, and we just now we're kind of reliant on you guys to just air it and play it so the masses can hear it, you know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
And then let them decide if they want it, they want to purchase it, if it's that good, they will purchase it. So, I'm excited because I see some other doors opening here where there's a big gap between here and the UK, and some of it just needs to be filled, with music crossing over both the Atlantic and getting over to the UK and vice versa, getting from the UK over to here. And I think that might be part of my new mission whilst I'm traveling to and fro between here and the UK.
Well, well, if that is what you're called to do, then by all means, why not do it?
Yeah.
There is a guy in Jamaica, Korik. Korik
Right.
is a producer and an artist himself,
Uh-huh.
and he just sent me some new work. In fact, last week I played. You heard one of the tracks that he produced. I played one of the tracks that he produced when I was closing out the show last Wednesday.
Right, yes.
He is just another humble guy. He used to play keys for Taurus Riley.
Okay. Well, top J artist, yes.
Yeah, he used to, but he's coming out of the church, playing in church also. Son of Bob Clark. Many people in Jamaica know who Bob Clark is from Irie FM. But I didn't even I've known him for years and I didn't even know Bob Clark was his dad.
Oh, wow.
Kind of a thing. When I say for years, I mean for years I've known this guy. He was at School of Music when I met him.
Wow.
So, but he's doing all this great work right now. Some of it with secular reggae, some of it he did the festival song competition, and because he wasn't there to perform the song one of the times because he was off on tour,
Yeah.
they disqualified his track. That was the winning track for that year. Hands
Oh,
down,
wow.
hands down, There was nothing else. But on a technicality, he got booted, and
Yeah.
but it's for me, it's still the winning track. You should connect with him, and I'll connect the two of you.
I appreciate that, and I believe my mission here is to kind of make some good connections, both here in the US and the Caribbean,
Right.
with some key people, and so we can just help each other. We can exchange ideas, products, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for everybody involved.
Right.
Once we can get a network together. That's what I really appreciate about being here. You guys are just so open to kind of, linking people up, key people that can help each other, because we're all in this together. It's not a one-man band, one producer, one DJ, one station. We're in this together. We're in this to just kind of have people be able to be accessible to beautiful music.
Yeah.
So it does help, and I really appreciate that. And I'd love to just hook up with people, and I'm sure either way we'll be able to help each other and add some value to what each of us are all doing. Do you know what I mean?
See, Marlon was just saying he saw Corrick play for Judy Mott at Brooklyn College in 2003 with Catalyst Crew. And
oh, wow, that must have been something, yeah.
Yeah, Catalyst is another awesome
top
group.
Jamaican, yeah.
Right.
Didn't know about that.
Paul and the crew, So, hey, there are so many connections that you can make, and you see, I think one of the things that hinder people from making these connections is that they think that they're going to lose whatever it is that they bring to the table by connecting with someone else.
I don't see it that way. I see it more like I have something I want to share.
Yes.
What is it you have that I could share, and I could bring that back to my territory, and highlight it, big it up, get it to the key people, and be able to. It might seem like a bad phrase, but our music does need exploiting. It does need getting out to the masses. And if we don't expose it, exploit it, then people are going to miss out.
Right.
There's a wealth of great stuff being created, and majority of it is not getting aired or not getting out to where it should get out to. And I'm talking globally now, because I know the market for what we do in both secular, gospel, reggae is a massive market worldwide.
Everybody loves reggae music. Everybody loves reggae music.
Yeah, I was speaking to somebody in Germany the other day, and reggae is just massive. I was looking at a video of my old school friend from Channel 1 Sound System out of London, playing in a arena in Italy.
Yeah.
And just full, and the majority of the people were Italians. You had a few, probably, Afro-Caribbean people there, but the majority of them were homegrown Italian, just jumping up to reggae music and loving it.
Yeah.
With a big sound system playing like the old school sound systems.
Right.
I'm talking
the
double, triple, 18, 20 odd speakers.
Oh yeah.
Massive, and that's all he does. All his life is just travel with his sound system. A bit like Corey and those guys from Stone Love. Those guys. Stone Love, yeah, just like them, just travel literally all year round, and it's a big market because people love that element of heavy reggae, dub-wise, whatever you want to call it. A big market for it out there in Europe. Big market, So, yes, and reggae is really growing, I went onto the iTunes chart the other day, and I was looking at some of the albums that are top of the iTunes, the top 100, and just to see how Marley's albums, probably about 8 or 10 of his albums are still in the top 100, and some of the albums, I don't even know half of the albums, but they're from around the world, the globe, people I've never heard of, and they're in the top 100 reggae albums on iTunes.
Yeah.
There's a big market out there. We don't even know half of what's going on out there, big market out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I really believe that people think that with losing a part of themselves, they just kind of keep to themselves versus sharing a piece of themselves with someone else to get so it's just losing out, I think, with and when you're networking, people who truly network don't it doesn't really matter. You know, their job is to get someone else to get seen.
That's right.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
let's go ahead and lift our brother up, because at some point in time somebody's gonna lift you up.
Yes,
Let's lift our
indeed.
sister up. You know, let's lift up each other. Um,
Percent.
you managed to get a couple of your artists to send me some voice notes.
Yes.
Let me see if I can play a couple of those right now.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Hi, DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you so much for having me on your show. My name is Sandy McCalla. I was born and raised in the county of Bedfordshire in England, in the United Kingdom. I was brought up in a very musical family. Many of us have played piano. I myself played the piano, the violin, clarinet. My parents sent me for music lessons on every instrument you could possibly imagine, but I gravitated toward piano, which was my first instrument. And was trained as a classically trained musician, but obviously with roots in gospel. In our home, a lot of country and western was played, along with reggae, gospel, soul as I grew older, pop as I began to sing. But classical music's always been my real grounding as well. I was first introduced to Gary Dixon by the world-renowned singer Loreen Cato after I had completed one of her vocal workshops for backing singers. And Loreen introduced me to Gary Dixon to join his band, TTM Collective. And I was given the honour, the privilege of really being one of the backing vocalists for all of Gary's artists, which I thoroughly enjoyed because I love backing vocals. I love doing backing vocals. And then it just so happened that Loreen, I had to stand in for Loreen at one of the shows. Not comparing myself with her on any level, because you just possibly can't compare yourself with Loreen. But following that show, Gary gave me a call and said he'd, love to give me the opportunity to do a duet on the next album with another singer called Kevin German, who at the time I knew from a group called Ecclesia in the UK. And so I met with Kevin and we did a studio recording, and that went really, really well. And then Gary called me and said, I'd like to give you the opportunity of doing a single. How do you feel about doing the song Just the Way You Are? And to me, that song spoke volumes to me because the lyrics, I just love the lyrics. And so, went into the studio, recorded Just the Way You Are. We did the live launch, the album launch, and it was really successful. And then some weeks or a month or so later, I had a telephone call saying that, the song that I'd done on the album was being entered into a chart that was put together really by a really well-known DJ in London, in the UK. But I understand he also streams at various countries around the world, called Stevie J. And so the first week my track went in as a new entry, and then it went in at number 15, and then it went up to number 9. The following week it went up to number 4. The following week it went up to number 2. And then for the following 2 weeks it went in at number 1, and it stayed there for 2 weeks consecutively, which I just have to say I was so shocked but honoured. It took me a real while for that news to really sink in. But very, very grateful to Stevie, very grateful to the UK public and everyone globally really who voted for our single, who along with Millicent Stevenson on saxophone was entered into the chart. It's really done a lot for me and my music career, I think, joining TTM Co. and also going into the chart. It's generated a lot of interest. People love the track, they love the music, they love the revamp of Just the Way You Are. So we're hoping for great things. We've been talking about the potential of doing another single or potentially doing an EP even, but it's a little bit early days. Who's to know what will happen? Watch this space. Thank you, Kevin.
That is Sandy. That was Sandy McCullough.
Correct. Yes.
And one of the connections, she was doing supporting vocals,
Yes.
often referred to as background vocals.
Yes.
I heard someone that normally did background vocals decide to reclassify it as supporting vocals, and I've been calling it ever since. I've been calling it
Okay.
that ever since because it gives a whole new understanding or a whole new meaning to the position. That
Yeah.
supporting vocal does just that. It supports
Yeah.
what is being presented as the main thing and often enhances. A lot of times you hear someone do something and they can sing well and it's just them and it's like, oh, that was nice.
Uh-huh.
And then they do it and you have some supporting vocals and it's like, oh my goodness, how did they do that? And it allows them to do some other things. It's like playing in a band, you know.
That's right.
It's you have all the parts working together and it allows each one to do certain things. When I learned to play jazz for the first time,
Uh-huh.
hearing about really learning to sit in the pocket while
In the
someone
pocket,
takes
yeah.
a solo
Mm-hmm.
and you're there supporting them as they shine for that moment. You know, that's kind of what supporting vocals allow a main singer to do. You know,
Absolutely.
because they hold that thing, they'll hold the theme and allow you to vamp on it or to do whatever it is that you want to do to add some color.
Absolutely.
So big ups to supporting vocalists. And here it was, Sandy was one of your supporting vocalists. And she ended up having a track that happens to be it's still number one now, isn't it?
It is number one. The charts go live again tomorrow, so we're hoping and praying it either stays there or at least it remains towards the top of the charts. But yeah, going into the third week to see where it's going to be, whether it's going to still be at the top tomorrow. We'll know by about, well, in actual fact, in a few hours because they are ahead of us, 11 o'clock
Right.
UK time. Their chart starts, so I'll be up for that, listening to that, see how it all goes. But yeah. But whatever happens, it's been a blessing to get to that position because there's not many people that can actually say, they go into a chart to actually say they hit the number one spot. We've hit it, and it's been 42 years or thereabouts since I've last I've been involved. I don't say it's me because it's a combination, it's a whole team effort.
Right.
Been involved in a number one. So I feel blessed, and Sandy has come a long way from backing vocals in the last 3 years, or support vocals. I like that term. That's supporting vocals. I like that term. With our unit, supporting all the artists, and it's not an easy task.
Yeah.
Because when we go on stage, we're on stage for at least 2 hours, and we're doing virtually every song that we've recorded. So it's quite intense, and for her to step out to the forefront now and command it the way she's commanded it and done so well. I'm so proud of her. Humble spirit, like we've been talking about, humble people all night tonight.
Right.
A very, very humble soul from the project, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Not to say the others aren't, but for her to kind of come through a journey is quite interesting because all of the other artists have been around, they've had number ones and this, that, and the other, but Sandy has never been in that position, so this is what I believe is probably her first recorded project. So it's a wonderful blessing to know. And as she said in the voice note there, it'd be interesting to see where we go from here. We've got a few ideas, but it's going to be quite an interesting journey, her journey, because it's going to be all about kind of elevating and helping her to build on this success that has happened over the last couple of weeks. Yes.
And she did. She had Millicent Stevenson.
On the sax, yeah. I think you might have got a voice note from her as well, yeah.
I do.
Millicent's a recording artist in her own right, a professional, and maybe if you got the recording, it'll explain where she's coming from. Did you have that recording?
I do.
You got it late.
All right, let me go ahead and play that one right now.
It would be nice, yeah.
Hello, DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. Hi, Gary. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Millicent Stevenson. I play the sax on the track Just the Way You Are. And I'm just really honoured that Gary invited me to just put my sort of feel on it. And Sandy's vocals are just fantastic. It sits so well on it. Let me just tell you a little bit about me then. I started my music, or certainly my sax, sort of when I left school. So I've been playing for about 34 years. And it was very much a hobby. I didn't get paid for it, just did it for fun. Had my ups and downs with it. Sort of had a break when I had the children, and then went back into it. And there's a whole sort of story behind all of that. But I'm a full-time professional musician, and I really enjoy what I do. I play jazz, I play gospel, reggae, blues, pop, soul, and I have some of my own compositions as well that I perform. Aside from the music, I'm very passionate about helping other people develop in their music. So I have a podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud called Success Beyond the Score, which is there to really help people find their way in the music industry. I have a free booklet, sort of reveal 25 secrets of the successful gigging musician, singer, rapper and spoken word artist. Deeply passionate about seeing more female musicians in the industry. Statistically, there are not many of us out there. So I do my thing by helping other women to develop in music through my project called Kefemni. Once a year I put on my own show called Not Just Jazz, just get all my fans together and have a great time. And in the UK we have an organisation called the Musicians Union, which is affiliated to the Trade Union Congress in the UK. And this year I sit on the executive committee of that, and also the Midlands Regional Committee I've been on for about 2 or 3 years now. But the union makes a lot of decisions which impact all musicians in the UK. So I'm just really pleased to be, sort of doing something even in a bigger way. How did I meet Gary and get onto this project? Well, it started maybe a couple of years ago now, I think. I was at a funeral, at a wake, and I was booked to perform. And the DJ Proclaimer, was spinning some tracks, and I heard some really great stuff. I heard some reggae take on some tracks, and I heard Natalie Phillips singing Take Me to the King, reggae version. And I said to DJ, wow, who's that? And where did you get that track from? And I was just really, amazed by it. So he mentioned, the producers, Gary Dixon from London. And I go, London? Okay, I'm in Birmingham, London. That's not far. So I got Gary's details and I rang up Gary and we had this conversation, which kind of went something like, yeah, Gary, I've got your details from DJ Proclaimer and I really love that track, Take Me to the King. And I was just wondering if I could, put some sax on that, maybe do a saxophone version. In fact, really what I want is a backing track and I can do that at my gigs. And Gary's kind of, in his cool way, kind of listening to me. And he's like, yeah, that's good, but maybe there's a bigger picture here, maybe you could do a little bit more than just that. And he got talking and we started to talk business. And so I said, yeah, sure, fine. So I came down and I did the Take Me to the King, created a sax version. And let me just squeeze in here, that track went to #1 on another chart a few months ago. So I'm really happy about that. And I know Gary's very happy about that. And then Gary sort of rang me up and said, hey, I've got another track, Just the Way You Are. I'd love to have some sax on that. And I goes, yeah, sure. So I came down and I did sax on that. And I'm like, oh, should I keep it really close to the sax that's, was on the Billy Joel track? Should I do my own thing? So I kind of did a hybrid, but it's my own thing. Did that one, and then next thing Gary saying, hey, yeah, we got silver and gold, Kirk Franklin number. Maybe you could do some sax on that. So that's how I ended up doing sax on 3 of the tracks on this fantastic album, Inspirational Love Songs by the TTM Orchestra. TTMC, I should correct myself, Orchestra. It's late or early over here, so I'm, sleeping on my feet as I speak to you. So sorry, Gary, you can correct all the lingo and jargon afterwards for me. So yeah, that's how I got onto the album. That's how I worked with Gary. And you know what? Not just Gary and Stuart. Oh, they're great producers. They really know their onions, so to speak. What's happening to me now as a result of the number 1 on the Just the Way You Are? Well, it went to number 1 on the Stevie J chart, which is great. For me, that's 2 number 1, so I'm super happy. It's kind of early doors, really, because my fan base are like, cool, they're buying the track and they're telling me congratulations and stuff, but I just feel like we're on the beginning of something really great, something really phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. And what I'm really hoping and praying is that this track is loved by more people. It is purchased, because as musicians, we need to live. We do need to live. So by you buying the album and, downloading the single and stuff, it helps us out. And also it means it can get onto other tracks and, get to different places where it needs to get to. We don't have the luxury of being signed to a huge label that has all the sort of trimmings and networks and distribution things. We have to do what we do, and because we can do what we do on the internet, it can go very, very far, and it can surpass and equate a lot of the big names. So that's not to put anybody down. It's just to say this album is fantastic. Not because I planned it. It just is. As a musician, I'm telling you, it is. You just got to go listen to the samples on Amazon and iTunes and wherever it is you buy your music from. But make sure you get Just the Way You Are and Take Me to the King and Silver and Gold. No, seriously. There are some phenomenal tracks on there. On the 17 tracks, you're going to hear some superb singers. Loreen Cato and a few other. Natalie's on there. And I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. Names are going out of my head. Dave Copeland and a few other, but Gary will tell you who's there and what they're doing. But yeah, it's doing well. I'm super happy, and I'm just glad to just be here speaking to America about it. Obviously, Melissa, I don't know if you're going to be here on this show, but just say hi to you, Melissa. If you're not on the show, you can hear me. Hi. But yeah, thank you so much, DJ, for inviting me on. Gary, hopefully I'll see you soon when lockdown has been lifted. And yeah, that's it. Anything else you guys want to know, my website is www.millicentstevenson.com. And my email is info@millicentstevenson.com. But of course, Gary's there. Just speak to Gary. And I'd love to hear from you. But yeah, go buy the track. It's great. Thank you, DJ. Bye for now.
So when outside open again, when outside start keep again, you get to see Melissa again. Millicent.
That's right, yes. Everything so far has been on Zoom. Melissa's been a great help for me here from day one. Yeah. 2016 or 17 when I first came here and had the EP, lingering in the shadows, and right. She interviewed me. And virtually every year
I remember that
here,
actually.
You remember that? Yeah. Every year I've been here, she's just been in my corner, so helpful, so kind of uplifting for me, guiding me, introducing me to people like you, amongst others. You know what I mean?
That's my sister from another mister. She's my sister from another mister.
Yeah, she's telling me, yes, and I keep saying to me, that's my brother. You make sure he gets all the tracks and everything, So, big up to Melissa if you're listening. I take my house.
She's in the stew pot right now.
Stew pot, okay. I'm not logged on. My laptop died, so my mum was watching our laptop, so that died. Okay. So hopefully we could watch it on a replay, and
Oh, yeah.
my mum get to watch the rest of it,
Yeah.
But getting back to Melissa, everybody has just been really special. The few people that I can say are getting behind this project, it's just phenomenal. We've got Joanne as well, which I think you've got a picture of at the back there,
Right.
from Global Reggae.
Reggae Global Entertainment, yep.
Yeah. They will be helping me. I believe they love the project. They've listened to it and love the project, so they'll be helping me. I think from about the 1st of May when they kick in with their campaign, fully to help get this out to the masses, because it is important that we get this out. It's too much for me, as Millicent was saying. It's too good a project to not be able to maximize getting it out to the masses out there. So I know there are other DJs listing other people like Marlon, other guys. I'm not going to mention names, but have the tracks, have the album, or have some of the tracks. I'm just hoping they get behind it, and maybe that would give me the real encouragement to start to make some tracks for being here more often myself, because I'm really loving it here, and I just believe the Lord is leading me to say, start a new phase in my life, and I believe that new phase is probably going to be right here in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, etc., as a base to really get this this material out to where it needs to get to, with the help of you wonderful people. And you guys have made it possible for me to even contemplate or think about that decision, because of the way I've been welcomed here, onto your shows and embracing the material and playing it and hoping we can get into some charts over here. I don't see why not. If I get the right direction from you guys, then there's no reason why we can't get this album and some of these songs into the charts over here.
People just need to hear it. That's all.
Absolutely.
People just need to hear it. Once they start hearing it,
so.
they start requesting it. Once they start requesting it, those that have charts really don't have much of a choice.
Right, I hear you.
Because the charts that I know about, individuals make it onto these charts and climb or fall on the charts, depending on how much their songs are being requested and the kind of sales that the tracks are getting. And so, all these things play a part.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why the whole album couldn't make it on. This album is phenomenal. The whole project is just awesome.
Bless you. Yeah. And I'd like to get you a hard copy as well, because the hard copy CD, for me, I believe it's a bit of a collector's item. Because of the packaging, the gatefold, the 6-page gatefold, the 12-page booklet,
nice.
The information on there, the music bios on there of every artist. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So be sure you get a hard copy, because it's all well and good downloading. It's nice, but when you have a physical, like right now, I'm holding a copy in my hand, and there's nothing better than just feeling that CD. A bit like vinyl. I'm a vinyl junkie person, I got a vinyl. I love to just run my fingers through the vinyl, pick out something, dust it down, and put it on the deck and play.
Yeah.
So I want to ensure. I brought a few over here with me. So for any of those key DJs that would like to get hold of the vinyl, the CD, I have a few with me, and
nice.
I want to ensure you get a copy, sir.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate of that. And I have a picture up right now of you holding the album, and I believe this was at that same concert.
Yeah, that was the launch of the album. So that's the 15th of February.
Yeah.
And that was the very first one that came out of the box that came from Czechoslovakia. I opened it on stage. It was all packaged up on stage, in ribbons and everything else. So I remember it took me a while to undo the ribbon and break the box open to take out the first CD. And you know what? On the break, the amount of people that went, because they'd obviously heard the first half of the show, the amount of people that went to purchase a CD in the break, and when I got to realize what happened, how many were sold at the end of the night, I was blown away. I just, wow. I said, thank God it was worth doing a hard copy CDs, because I believe this is a kind of a demographic kind of set of people that want the CD. They
Right.
they're not just into the downloads.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that we did do the CDs and that they were able to walk away with a CD on that night. And then the testimonials that started coming in after. It took me a couple of weeks to kind of get up to scratch with the messages and the thank yous, and they want a CD. And then people that didn't get it on the night were saying, "I want my CD. I've heard." It was phenomenal. So wonderful night, being able to break the CDs open that night, and for people to purchase that. And hopefully one day we can bring this here, bring the project here, and do something live. It would be really nice.
That would be awesome. I'm gonna go out on a limb and request one of them CDs for Marlon also. I know how he gets off on the information and turning the pages and reading every bit.
Consider it done,
When I tell-
Marlon. Consider that done, sir.
And he just put in the in the pot too. I live for the information in the sleeve. Marlon is that guy that reads every letter.
Wow.
And
You're going to enjoy this. Definitely going to enjoy this.
You have those that read every word. Marlon reads every letter.
Yeah, perfect. Just need to send me the address. I'll maybe even be going to the post office tomorrow or Wednesday, so I can pop a few in the post, and hopefully within a couple of days, you guys will have your hard copy CDs.
Got you.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so let me see. What do I have to cover now? I just have about 15 minutes of musical therapy to do. To go.
Wonderful. I would love for you to feature possibly a couple of tracks, but definitely if you could feature the Sandy and Millicent.
Oh, that's
just
queued
the way
up.
You are.
That's queued up.
No,
That's already queued up.
You got it queued up?
Oh, yeah.
We think alike. Wonderful. Yes.
I already have that queued up. Tell me, share where people can go to get the order their copy, whether they're ordering the download or the physical copy.
Yeah. It's on the physical copies will be available through my website, which we're just finishing off the website now. But if people really want to get a hold of it, especially if they're here in the States, just go on to my GLR Records, Limited GLR Records on Facebook, and they can send me a message, etc., and then we can hook up the details to get the album to them. Pretty simple process. We have an account set up that can take the funds, and then the website will be up soon, which will be glrrecords.net. That's glrrecords.net. I'm hoping within the next maybe 6-7 days that site will be up. May not be fully completed, but at least it's accessible. So I know Melissa's there helping me with that. I'm putting it together, but she's helping me with that.
Oh, yeah.
And
She's good
other
at things
ways,
like that.
anywhere downloadables, every site you can name downloadable, from your iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. It's every platform. I opened it out that it could be accessible for every platform. So very simple. People just punch in Inspirational Love Songs, Masterpiece. It will come up. Easy to download. And I do recommend the album because the 18-track album is phenomenal. If you buy the singles, or if people start picking off singles, by the time they get through all of the album, they're going to purchase it individually, and it will cost them a lot more. So
Right.
I recommend get the album at a discount, and they'll enjoy the album. And I always say this to people: I've got no qualms in saying. I challenge anyone that purchases this album, if they do not get value for money, I personally will refund their money. Because I'm that confident that this product, this brand, this album is something special, very, very special. I don't do that often. There's not many people could actually do that, but I am so confident that this product is good that they purchase it. If they're not happy, see me, I'll take it back, I'll give them back the full money, no questions asked,
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, Gary, much respect. I encourage everybody to just go blow up his social media now, GLR Records. But is it just Facebook? You have an Instagram also?
I have an Instagram, Gary_Revelation_Dixon. I was on my Instagram, and I think I'm on Twitter as well, the same. But I'm still getting my head around Twitter. But Instagram, I do believe it's the one to really focus on. And again, I'm getting a lot of help on my social media side. So yeah, hook me up on Instagram, and it's Gary Gary_Revelation, like the last book of the Bible, and then Dixon Dixon. So yeah, Gary_Revelation_Dixon. Instagram.
Perfect.
And Gary Revelation Dixon on Facebook, just as it is, Gary Revelation Dixon.
And JLR Records also.
Yes, for our Facebook, and then the website's coming very soon. I'm excited about that. Very excited, yes.
I encourage everybody to just go blow up his social media. Just blow it up. Yeah.
Well, it did the last couple of weeks. I just couldn't get on top of my messages, especially when we hit number one the last 2 weeks. You know, I was constantly spending days and nights trying to catch up. Because I'm a person, I like to kind of feedback personally. I don't like to just do a broadcast and that. And it took me up until about, I think it was about yesterday or the day before, that I actually kind of got back on top of things. And I was like, wow, you know, and then the chart hits again tomorrow. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
There you go. There you go,
yeah.
So what I'm going to do right now is, first, I'm going to play the ad. And then I'm going to close out and go into my musical therapy with Just the Way You Are.
Oh, wonderful. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
DJ Kevin Stew, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your support, giving me the time, and to all your listeners, and for all the people that haven't got the album or the project. I'm thanking them in advance, and they will be blessed. And I just, on the closing, just give God all the glory, all the honor for having me where I am at the moment in my life. And I am very, very just over the moon, blessed by all that's happening, and the blessings just keep coming. So I just, every morning I give God thanks for another morning, especially in this climate that we're in at the moment, you know. A really, really special time that I could be here with my mom and feel like I'm a blessing to everything that's happening around me in my life, yes.
Yes, definitely. Gary, thank you for coming out and doing your show.
My joy, like always. Oh, it's an honor, it's a blessing. Thank you. You've really made me feel really special tonight to take over your entire show. It's special, very, very special. Yeah.
Much respect.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Hey, stay safe, get some rest, and we'll talk. Yes, Marlon, I'll go ahead and forward it to you also.
Just 2 full addresses. I'll get it in the post. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Good night to everyone listening. Marlon, Melissa, yourself, DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you, and just a big thank you to all of my team, the TTM Collective Orchestra, the whole entourage, singers, artists, musicians, and all the backroom people that help us. It's a big project. When we come out, it's a big project. So I thank each and every one of you guys for just making this vision become a reality and a dream come true. Yeah.
You know, my track, well, of course, I mentioned Endlessly.
Okay, yes.
But the other track, and people have heard me playing this, I've been playing it, Heal the Land.
Oh, okay. Quite...
love it. Well,
thank you for that, because that's quite a powerful statement for what's happening, you know, so...
Right.
That's an interesting track. Thank you for that. That was the last one we did on the album to get everybody in and do their piece on it, so... It's a blessing, because we just want to have that community awareness of what's going on. So it's a statement. That's a statement track.
Yeah. That definitely does it for me.
Wow, wonderful. So, and everybody's got different favorites. You know, every track's been a favorite. Every 18 track, somebody has told me, even down to the sonata, the classical Stuart Green playing, you know, I've had people say, that's my favorite track, you know, so there isn't a track on there that somebody hasn't said is their favorite. So every track is somebody's favorite along the line.
Because it is that good.
That's amazing. I'm blessed. I'm honored. Yeah.
Listen.
You know, because you and I, before you go, back in the day when you buy an album, you normally buy it for 2 or 3 tracks. Is that true or not?
It's true. It's true.
It's true. That's how it used to be. Because I remember I'm guilty. I used to, I need a track or two. It's on the album. I didn't worry about the other 8, 10 or whatever. I'm buying it because I need that track.
Right.
But this, we're getting some special feedback on this album. People are just buying it and they're enjoying virtually every track, or they've got their favorite, and it's always a different favorite.
Yeah.
Always
See,
a different.
MJ's favorite is Free. And she plays that song. Boy, she plays that song.
Yeah. That's it's incredible. It's one of mine. I've got to be honest. It is one of mine. I wouldn't say it is because up to now I don't know what my favorite is.
Yeah.
But it's the top 3, definitely.
Yeah. I love all the tracks. Endlessly
Wow.
kind of stands out for me for some reason.
Toyin would
And
love that. Toyin's based in Seattle, who sings that one.
okay.
He's right here in Seattle, so at some point maybe if that kind of kicks off from the album, and you want to do an interview or telephone or something with Toyin or
Right.
thing, then the doors are there just for these guys that would love and appreciate sort of being able to speak to you guys that getting behind
Yeah.
this track.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
beautiful, yeah. She just lost her mum, by the way. Just lost her mum back in London. Yeah, 92, I think it was. Yeah, so we
Okay.
just send prayers out for her as she kind of works on trying to get her put to rest.
Yes, yes.
So heart goes out to
Yes,
Toyin,
condolences, God.
yeah. So,
All right. So I'm
Well,
gonna
it's been a
run this
pleasure.
ad. I'm gonna
Thank
play
you very
this
much.
song, and
Yes.
and hopefully I get to close out with "Heal the Land." Also,
Okay.
we'll see how it works out. I never really planned my musical therapy; it just happens.
I like that. How you feel? That's really nice.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Take care,
Thank you.
Gary. Blessings.
Good night.
We'll
DJ
talk.
Kevin, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Hey, Gary Revelation Dixon and GLR Records presents the brand new hot single Just the Way You Are by TTM Collective Orchestra featuring Sandy McCalla and Millicent Stevenson. This is from the well-anticipated double album Inspirational Love Songs Masterpiece, featuring various artists, now available on all major download sites, or you can visit glrrecords.net for limited CD album copies only, or go to GLR Records on Facebook for more information. Get the hot new single out now, Just the Way You Are.
Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before. Don't imagine you're too familiar, and I don't see you anymore. I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come this far. I took the good times, I'll take the bad times, I'll take you just the way you are.
that sax. She really just changed that.
Don't go.
Just owned it.
Some new fashion. Don't change the color of your hair. No, no. You always have my unspoken passion. Although I might not seem to care. Oh, I said I love you, and that's forever. And this I promise from my heart. Yeah, I could not love you any better. I love you just the way you
I intentionally did that. No, I'm not giving you the end. Go get the album. I'm gonna give you a taste of this. And this is how I'm gonna leave you all tonight.
Truth is, I'm tired. Option of you.
This is Natalie Phillips.
I'm trying to pray, but where are you? I'm all churched out, hurt and abused. I can't fake what's left to do. Truth is, I'm weak, no strength to fight.
I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight.
Tears to cry.
Remember, go get your copy.
I try, but still my soul
Inspirational Love Songs, the
that
TTM Collective Orchestra. It's
once
called Masterpiece.
will change my life. Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart is torn in pieces. Is my offering. Lay me at the throne. Leave me there alone
Be sure to join me tomorrow,
to gaze
right here, same time,
on
10 p.m. Eastern,
to you. This
kevinstew.com.
take me to the
It's healthy love. And this is how we bounce out our community and finance for tonight. Thank you all.
in these games.
If you missed it live, go catch the replay. It'll be in the archives by morning.
People's pain.
Archives at bottom of the page, kevinstew.com.
Let it fall like rain.
Until later on,
Ooh, we're desperate, chasing after you.
y'all take care of yourselves, yeah? Peace, love, prosperity. Catch y'all later.
Hey yo, this is Carman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
In the moment is priceless. Consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.